You're watching South Asia Newsline and here the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 26th of April. India votes in second election phase as context heats up. Feel ashamed looking towards Bangladesh, PM Sharif laments Pakistan's condition. And Bangladesh repatriates Myanmar troops after fighting on border. And now for all the details. India on Friday went to poll for the second phase of the world's biggest election, with political parties raising the pitch of election campaign. A total of 88 seats out of the 543 seats in the lower house of parliament went to the polls on Friday, with around 100 million people exercising their right of franchisee. These constituencies were spread across 13 states and federal territories in the world's most populous country, which included constituencies in southern states of Kerala and Karnataka and northwestern state of Rajasthan. Congressian Rahul Gandhi is also among the candidates in the fray on Friday, seeking re-election from Wayanad in Kerala. The campaign has become more heated since the first phase of voting on April 19, with ruling BJP and opposition Congress accusing each other of using divisive language and misleading the voters. While BJP is targeting Congress leaders' wealth redistribution statements, the opposition party says BJP fears losing and is using divisive language to distract voters from real issues such as unemployment, the price rise and rural distress.
एक्चुअली फर्स्ट टाइम वोटर्स हैं तो हम यूथ हैं तो हम यही सोच रहे हैं कि थोड़ा हमारे लिए भी सोचा जाए जॉब से रिलेटेड, क्योंकि अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट बहुत ज़्यादा है, हमारा कंपटीशन बहुत टफ है, तो इससे रिलेटेड थोड़ा सोचा जाए तो बेटर ऑप्शन है हमारे लिए.
आप नई गवर्नमेंट से क्या?
Meanwhile, India's Supreme Court on Friday rejected bunch of petitions seeking return to the ballot system or to tally all paper slips generated as proof of voting for votes recorded by electronic machines. In a unanimous verdict, the top court said blindly distrusting a system can lead to unwarranted suspicions. India uses electronic voting machines to record votes, which is connected to voter verifiable paper audit trail unit, which produces a paper slip that is visible to the voter via transparent screen.
Accepted our demands, but has directed the Election Commission to examine that if barcodes can be put on the ballot on the VVPAT slips, so that the VVPAT slips can be mechanically counted by a counting machine. Also, secondly, they have said that the symbol loading unit, which loads the symbol constituency by constituency, should be sealed and kept available for at least 45 days after the election.
Dismissing the US report on human rights violations in India, India's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal has termed it totally biased. The report by the US State Department highlighted significant abuses in Manipur, where an ethnic conflict broke out last year. It also mentioned the alleged attack on minorities, journalists and dissenting voices across the country. Jaiswal said the report reflects poor understanding of India and there is no value attached to it. Furthermore, the report also mentioned the killing of India-designated Khalistani terrorist Hardeep Singh Nijjar in 2023 under transnational repression, which became a heated topic of debate after Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau publicly alleged India's involvement in the murder. The allegation has taken a significant toll on diplomatic relations between the two nations. Both nations has expelled senior diplomats and India had briefly halted visa operations over the matter. Moving on, while lamenting Pakistan's economy, which is in shambles, and comparing it to Bangladesh's growth, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said this week that he feels ashamed. The statement comes as crisis at Pakistan is seeking another loan from IMF. A report.
In an interactive session with business leaders in Karachi this week, Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif lamented the crisis hit Pakistani economy and said when he compares it with Bangladesh's growth, he feels ashamed. With a chronic balance of payment crisis, Pakistan needs $24 billion in payments for debt and interest servicing in the next fiscal year starting July 1, 3 times more than its central bank's foreign currency reserves. The soaring inflation and political instability have left residents worried for the future.
अभी इन्होंने 50 रुपए कम किया, इससे क्या होगा? 750 रुपए में 5 किलो। जो रोजाना का 500 कमाने वाला वो आटा खरीद करे। पेट्रोल की कीमतें देखो कहाँ तक गई, डीजल की देखो कितनी कीमतें कहाँ तक गई। अब एक आम आदमी क्या कर सकता है?
Finance Minister Mohammad Aurangzeb earlier this week said Pakistan will be seeking a new long-term, larger IMF loan, for which talks will begin on 29 April. But residents feel this would mean more financial burden.
बिजली के बिल भी इतने भेज रहे हैं, गैस है नहीं, बिजली है नहीं, पानी का भी मसला है, हर जगह पे ये मसला है। लेकिन हमको ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि अल्लाह ताला ने पाकिस्तान को इतना नवाजा है, नबी की दुआओं से इतना नवाजा है, लेकिन ये कहाँ जा रहा है? मुझे तो ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि किस तरीके से ये खा रहे हैं, किस तरीके से पी रहे हैं। बरकत उड़ा दी है इस मुल्क की।
Bangladesh on Thursday sent home nearly 300 Myanmar troops and civil servants who fled across the border to escape attacks on their outposts near the frontier between the two countries. Myanmar has been roiled in conflict since the military seized power from a democratically elected government in a 2021 coup. Violent clashes between soldiers of the Arakan army, an armed group belonging to an ethnic minority, and junta forces since late last year saw hundreds of fleeing troops cross into Bangladesh. Bangladesh has stepped up security along its border with Myanmar, fearing that the conflict there could trigger another major influx of Rohingya Muslim refugees caught in the fighting. The country is already home to an estimated 1 million stateless Rohingya refugees, most of whom fled a brutal 2017 military crackdown that is now subject to a genocide investigation at the International Court of Justice. Sri Lanka is looking into accelerate greater economic cooperation with India, Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe said on Thursday. Speaking at the opening ceremony of Indian hotel chain ITC's first overseas property in Colombo, Wickremesinghe said India is a rising giant and added that the hotel was the first step being laid for greater economic cooperation between the two countries, starting with tourism. He added India's status as rising economy and Lanka's strategic location as strategic logistics hub will complement each other in driving forward the two economies. Highlighting one of the biggest investment in the island's nation's hospitality sector by an Indian firm, he said he hoped this investment will encourage many other companies from other parts of the world to come and invest in the island nation. Exiled Tibetans living in the Indian hill town of Dharamshala on Thursday celebrated the 35th birth anniversary of their missing spiritual leader, the 11th Panchen Lama. Monks and devotees gathered in Dharamshala and Shimla and prayed for his well-being and longevity. The Tibetan administration raised demands of immediate release of the original Panchen Lama, the second most powerful figure in Tibetan Buddhism after the Dalai Lama, who they claim was abducted by China. Gedun Choiki Nyama was recognized as the 11th Panchen Lama in 1995 by Tibet's current spiritual leader, the 14th Dalai Lama. However, China went on to anoint Gleisten Norbu as its own Panchen Lama the same year. China said in 2015 that Nyama was living a normal life and did not want to be disturbed. Activists say China has violently tried to stamp out religious freedom and culture in Tibet. China rejects the criticism, saying its rule has ended serfdom and brought development to a backward region.
We still don't know whether Panchen Rinpoche is alive or not. We still don't know whether he has been educated or not, as what the Chinese government claims. So all we are asking for is for the immediate release of the Panchen Lama recognized by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and restoration of his titles and his responsibilities.
Asia's largest tulip garden in India's Jammu and Kashmir closed this week for public after a one-month-long successful show with 4.5 lakh visitors, indicating a great tourist season this year. Earlier, not many tourists came during springtime in Kashmir, but now lots of people visit intending to see the beautiful flowers of the tulip garden. The garden was opened on 23rd of March and was shut for public on 24th of April. Last year, around 3.62 lakh tourists had visited the garden. The visitors on the closing day said they were enchanted by its beauty.
माय फर्स्ट विजिट और ये मेरा सेकेंड डे ऑफ रोमिंग अराउंड कश्मीर में है और ट्यूलिप गार्डन मतलब मुझे सुनने मिला कि जल्दी बंद हो जाएगा, तो हम लोग बहुत लकी थे कि आज टिकट भी मिल गई और हमें आने मिला। इट्स रियली ब्यूटीफुल। मैं हॉलैंड में भी ट्यूलिप गार्डन्स गई हूँ, लाइक ककनफ में, बट इतना ब्यूटीफुल पहाड़ों का उधर लोकेशन नहीं है और बहुत सुंदर है ये, मतलब फाउंटेन्स है और बहुत बहुत सुंदर है एंड पीपल आर वेरी नाइस हियर, सो होपफुली आप लोग को आने मिले और ये देखने मिले।
Spread over 30 acres, the tulip garden is built on a mountain slope. Each year, new flowers are added in the garden. The annual activity provides livelihood to a large number of gardeners, laborers and contractors.
लाख लाख शुक्र है कि हमारी मेहनत जो हमने की साल भर, तो इस महीने में आपको मालूम है कि वो रंग लाई। इंशाल्लाह उम्मीद करते हैं कि आगे भी हम मेहनत ऐसे ही करेंगे, इससे ज़्यादा करेंगे और ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा टूरिस्ट यहाँ पे आ जाए।
That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.